What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some of the current data points, what just came out from SoundHound itself, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound is up 1.16%, 1336 the low, 1430 the high. So absolute craziness today. So you had this pullback prompted because of CPI. So both month over month and year over year did come in hotter than anticipated. So that's what kind of caused the market to freak out. And then you had a recovery because people started to look at the true data. So if you look here, it shows the month over month, this column right here, January 2025. And under this row right here, energy did go up 1.1%. So ultimately, meaning the other basket items did go down, which overall, this is why you shouldn't always look at this data and react based on this, because sometimes this can be wrong. And this is why the Feds like to look at PCE rather than CPI. CPI sometimes is very skewed by energy, and this data definitely does just and signals that. So this is what really caused this pullback and also a recovery. In addition to that though, one thing that did come out was Trump. And so it looks as though there might be some peace in the foreseeable future between Russia and Ukraine. So Trump seems to be mitigating that, and hopefully that'll be coming out sooner rather than later. And then finally, today was the last day that Powell kind of spoke, and the only real kind of takeaway, he piggybacked off of yesterday and just ultimately said they're not going to have any cuts, blah, 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 until inflation does go down. But he did say that the economy is very, very strong, despite the inflation and the current levels of that. So honestly, that's what I've been stating the whole time. A lot of the data points that has been coming out has been a-okay, showing that the economy is strong. Even the recent manufacturing data did signal for the first time since the summer that the market's going to be entering into a expansionary stage from a contraction over the last little bit. So I think, yeah, the market is absolutely loving that recent update from Powell and also CPI and everything. So you had a nice recovery. So when it comes to today, specific to SoundHound, you did have some news. So they did announce the date of their earnings. So Q4 and also full year 2024 is going to be announced on February the 27th. If you want me to live stream that, I can definitely do that. So let me know in the comments below if you would want that. But yeah, I think in general, looking at the current estimates, so you have -9 cents for the earnings per share and then 33.73 million for the revenue. So I'll give you guys updates as they come due, because technically analysts can change their estimates without giving official ratings or re-ratings, if that kind of makes sense. So like I said, I'll be monitoring this just to see if there is any changes from now until February the 27th. Over the last 90 days though, there has been 0 negative and 0 positive, 5 negative revisions to the earnings per share. So yeah, let me know your viewpoint. And then like I kind of mentioned, I'll be monitoring just to see if there is any changes. That earnings per share, on a side note, does represent a negative 37.14% year over year growth. And then the revenue is 96.7% positive year over year growth. So let me know your viewpoint on all of that. Aside from that though, shorts right now are returning 335,000 shares. Market just closed right now. So on a side note, the reason why I'm doing this, I had a lot of comments asking if I could try to push my SoundHound videos back. That way you can kind of have a bigger, better picture of exactly what happened today. So shorts did return 335,000 shares. 29.01% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 95.47 million shares. Shorts were definitely doubling down with that CPI data. So they were at its peak, increasing roughly around 3.8 million shares. And on a side note, the reason why it is 29.01% of the free float now being shorted is because 2 times per month, the NASDAQ does disclose the true amount of shares being shorted. So that update did come yesterday. It's always delayed. So as of January the 31st, there is 101.8 million shares overall are being shorted. So what Ortex and Fintel and other platforms use or do, they take this information, calculate it up to present day, and voila, that's how you have 29%. So yeah, interesting stuff overall. So shorts definitely did try to suppress SoundHound quite significantly. So give yourself a shout out if you did buy the dip. Like, that is crazy that if anyone did get like that in among itself, even if you just swing trade that just today or day trade that, pretty good return on investment overall. But moving on from all of this though, looking at options, 4.79 million in calls, 1.83 in puts. 47% of all the options being done today are optimistic in nature, and of the call options that were purchased, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $16.50 to $17 range. So a lot of optimism for the foreseeable future, and then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub $13.50. So still a lot more upside is anticipated. These are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So definitely frequency is lower today, but you do see a lot more legitimate buying going on. So again, that's kind of something to take note of. I'll start also giving you updates on dark pool. So dark pool is very, very crazy for SoundHound. A lot of transactions. Again, similar to the other one, this shows all the transactions over $100,000. So this is, out of all the exchanges, the most popular for SoundHound. And this is where shorts and a lot of other big market makers hide a lot of their shares and transactions. What I don't like bring up about this, it doesn't show the bid or the asks, so it's a lot of grayness on what was buys and what was sells. So again, do your own due diligence at the end of the day. But with it closing at 13.97, it was able to fight and get above this S1. So 13.73 is going to be a strong support. Just watch for that going forward. And then 15.09 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Tomorrow we do have coming up PPI. So if that comes in better than anticipated, you definitely could see this 15.09 being touched, because as well, Powell mentioned that specifically about PPI and how that's more of a precursor for PCE. And I believe that's coming out next week, but don't quote me, I'll have to double check on that. But nonetheless, it should be a fun rest of the week. But now with CPI behind us and we can kind of breathe once again, now I think a lot of stocks are going to be ready to really move higher. But aside from that, no new analyst ratings, nothing like that. With it closing at that 13 and change, it is still below the 50-day moving average and the ALMA. So that's sitting at 14.97. Then you do have that 50-day moving average right here at 16.03. And you have right now stochastic RSI pulling back, so technicals are resetting alongside the recent consolidation, so that's kind of a good thing. So if there's a good piece of news, let's say tomorrow, then you could see a very nice recovery. Only thing to take note of though is you still do see a bearish deviation, so the orange line above the blue. But all in all, I think SoundHound definitely did do fairly well today. Shows that it had a lot of good buyers. I think the CPI and the market, how it reacted to CPI, really did throw shorts off their game, so that's always a good thing. And so right now it looks like 360, so a little bit of change. I think it was 365 before. So let me know your viewpoint on SoundHound. What is your thoughts and expectations for their upcoming earnings? Are you optimistic? As I said already in previous videos, I think the market might forgive earnings per share and revenue and focus a lot on future guidance and what that does truly mean for SoundHound. So let me know your viewpoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.